Welcome to the Living Connected podcast. I'm your host, Mallory Meyer. I'm a multi-six-figure online entrepreneur, founder of White Wolf Reiki, and creator of the Frequency Business Mastery School. I weave together the metaphysical with the science of the subconscious mind and timeless business principles to help you take your passion for serving and empowering others full time. I'm not just here to teach you how to build a profitable and aligned business, but to invite in more authenticity, awareness, clarity, and certainty in what, who, and how you serve. In return, to generate more sales as you cultivate greater confidence and wealth through deeper self-sovereignty and advocacy, inviting in a trauma-sensitive approach to protocols and processes in our marketing and selling as we honor each client's humanity in the process of living more connected. This podcast is here to connect you further to your self-mastery for business, your lifestyle, and of course, your mindset. Join me on my mission to uplift and elevate the collective to love and light. Hello, podcast fam, and I'm so excited to tap into this episode today. I get so many questions, especially as of late, reintroducing the Akashic Energy and Business Mastery Soul sessions into my offer portfolio. Just having the questions around what are the records? Who is this for? What kind of questions can I ask? And I'm going to be sharing and addressing those questions with you within this episode today, along with giving you a further understanding around my approach and what even led me to the Akashic Records themselves in the very beginning of my journey. I also want to share with you some really fun, really recent opportunities for you to understand what a reading could entail just with a past one that was held this week. We just got home this afternoon from such a gorgeous hike, and we've also just been blessed with so much beautiful sunshine, beautiful weather out in BC, and I just was feeling so renewed, so recharged to want to bring this forward for you, but also knowing so deeply how nature is such a mirror for us. And now opening the space with the records, opening the space with these sessions, I'm just even more mindful in my own energetic management and going out in nature, moving my body, just being in a state of wonder in itself really helps me to tap into my intuitive gifts at a greater level and to show up for these readings with such a clear channel as well, just with grounding the energy. And especially just as of late, really tying in some elements around my human design. I do have an undefined crown and essentially third eye area where there's so much information that I can receive, that I can consume, and I need to be very mindful of what is that consumption, what also are areas that I can get curious around of, does this really belong to me? To then have that expression come forward within my throat chakra, which is defined. So without further ado here, let's just kind of give you a better understanding about what the Akashic Records even are. If you are brand new to this world, if this is something that you've never even heard of before, I want you to know that the Akashic Records are the light body of universal self-awareness. So as such, they essentially contain the universal consciousness and with its three main components of mind, heart, and will. And each and every time that we access the records, whether it is personally for ourselves or whether we are opening the records for our clients, our awareness is affected by the quality of this light. And when this happens, the effects of the light become evident in our thoughts and in our emotions, and we also begin to experience an increased sense of peace and well-being. And just from the perspective of the records, all souls are eternal. At this level of understanding, the records hold the archive of each soul as it has existed from lifetime to lifetime as different human beings on the earth plane while evolving throughout time and space. And this is really where, when individuals come forward for a reading, they can bring forward questions and they can receive channeled guidance, whether it is a specific for past, present, or future. And just one last note around this general summary of the Akashic Records is they are always changing and expanding. As our souls evolve over time, our records adjust to reflect that growth, and as such, are in this continual state of refinement as we align with our perfection and really manifest that perfection into our earthly lives. Now, when it comes to how I actually go about accessing this archive of the soul and its journey with each unique individual that I hold space for their Akashic Record reading, for my own even at times, I access it specifically myself through something known as the pathway prayer process. And this was shared with me through the book, if you are familiar with it, by Linda Howe. But there are a variety of methods that people use today to access the Akashic Records, to correspond to that variety of ways in which they can make contact with the spiritual resources. And so, again, I just want to bring that to the surface because I do know of other individuals in my community who help to support others in really learning how to access their records, while I also know another individual who's very well self-known for her download of a specific prayer that she uses to access the records. So it really does come from what resonates with you most. And when you hear a little bit about my story and how I stumbled upon the records, this is why I have always leaned into the pathway prayer process and following how Linda Howe demonstrated how we all can access our records, but how we go about doing that and how we can be in service for others in doing so as well. Just as a very brief example here, there are others as well that may, outside of the prayer, access the records and gain access through hypnosis. There have been some who have been able to tap into the records by using the symbols of the healing practice with Reiki, which, as many of you know if you've been listening for some time, being a Reiki master, it's definitely helped in this journey of my own. So this is where we'll kind of just seamlessly move into this story around accessing the pathway prayer process and working with Linda Howe's method. So essentially, after I became a Reiki master, and again, this was around now, I would say, probably the end of 2018, the very beginning of 2019, there's this beautiful spiritual store where we live, and we love to go in, we love to just explore and see again intuitively where we're taken, because there is an abundance of books, an abundance of goods. And essentially, I was taken to this hall, and within there immediately found and stumbled upon this book of how to read the Akashic Records. At this point in time, I actually had never even heard of the Akashic Records. So I had no idea what to anticipate, what may unfold, but it really just brought my attention into what this could provide, and I had to essentially purchase the book. Now, before I even purchased the book, I just want to make note that I opened up the paperback to see the preface and the words that said, "You have in your hands a simple tool for accessing a profound spiritual depth." The very fact that you are reading this is evidence that you have the potential to know your soul better than ever before. To me, that just solidified so much in the next step of my journey, and so much of course, this makes deep sense in what I had just kind of essentially unraveled through my healing journey with my Reiki certifications. And when I really reflect back on this journey as well, in stumbling upon the records and really immersing myself with this book, with the practices, with the simple protocols, and being very diligent behind it as well, I was also simultaneously beginning my certification journey in becoming certified as an NLP coach with EFT, with time technique, essentially as a hypnotherapist. So it was really beautiful to see a lot of those subconscious modalities as well being intertwined into alongside the energy healing work that I was holding space for as well. And I'll never forget that very first reading. And I'll always, and this is even brought up in the way that I learned, obviously extending free of charge some practice readings, having that ability to just open up the space and access it for others. I will make note, just as I'm mentioning this, that it's not even about accessing it for others. When you really start to understand how you can open up the records, you can do it for property and really get a sense of its history There's just so many beautiful, beautiful ways that we can leverage the work with the records. But I will say that within opening up the very first record reading for this individual, I was astonished with the level of depth and clarity I had to channel and bring forward information for their soul, for their unique being and their humanity and their past experiences, and just language that resonated with them. It was such a different experience than what I had held for the last month or so of just opening up my own each and every day, getting familiar with the energy, getting familiar with the way that I really desired to channel. And it was just so remarkable that got me hooked. And that's, again, for anyone that's really seen me from the very start of my journey, it was always either energetic healings with Reiki or having an Akashic record reading to work with me before I really brought forward my 6-month one-to-one coaching package. And again, that 6-month one-to-one coaching package was the springboard that truly allowed me to create a profitable business, to have a thriving coaching business. And what I really loved within it, and what I still love to this day, because that 6-month offer still exists, is I now have these woven in support sessions on somatic release, support sessions around having the Akashic Records read for my clients, support sessions within energetic Reiki healings. And because the focus and the energy over the last at least 1.5 to 2 years has been on coaching with clients in the 6-month space or within Frequency Business Mastery, the 3-month mini mind, I necessarily didn't have the capacity in the space because of the energy I was investing with those clients to have one-off sessions. And Spirit just came through this year, and it was just so profound to say these need to come back. They can't just be for your one-to-one clients. There's an audience that needs this work now. And so just kind of having brought that back now in the last month, it has been so incredible just to not only provide, but have a greater reach and acknowledgement and understanding about the individuals that are in my audience, the individuals who have been either working with me previously or even just been watching me, and we've had some general conversations to get to know them on such a deeper level too. Before I go any further in this episode, I do just want to remind you, if you haven't yet heard, whether it's been through my social media, me talking about this a little bit more prevalently, up until May 23rd, if you book by May 23rd, your personalized 45-minute Akashic Energy and Business Mastery Soul Guidance session, they are, at this point in time, $111. It is regular $222. So I really encourage you, if you've been listening to this episode, if you're going to continue listening to this episode, now is the time for you to receive a reading. If this has been calling to you, if you want to learn more about the direction of your business, I'm going to be speaking about that just a little bit next, but definitely want to make sure if you have any inkling, it's for a reason, and I invite you to move forward with that booking at such a stellar price right now. Again, $111 when booked by May 23rd. The booking itself can go into June. At this point, I don't have any openings in July, so we will see as time moves forward, but definitely can't wait, and I really hope to see you for your own personalized reading. All those details, as always, you will find in the show notes too. So within these 45-minute sessions, I open your records and I bring forward channeled guidance and healing, which may focus on your current business or new business startup, creative endeavors, or dreams that you've struggled to bring into fruition. And this is really an opportunity to receive a clear action step and to create the results that you desire in business through this metamorphosis session. And I'm really excited to share with you, again, like I mentioned at the very beginning, what unfolded for a specific client who received one last week. But ultimately, again, these sessions hold space for energetic healing, just in opening up the records themselves, opening up to that light, clearing blocks at a subconscious cellular level, giving you that clarity and the validation on your path while delivering wisdom from your masters, teachers, and loved ones. Now, as I hold this space, once I've opened up your records, that's essentially where I initially channel in divine guidance exactly for you, what's coming forward, what I see. I'm very much more in these sessions, not just clairvoyant, but also claircognizant. So the information comes in so quick that they are recorded, so you have access to it. And what I've heard even from previous clients is there's always something new unfolding for them that lands for them at the exact right time that was brought forward in their reading. Now, you specifically also have an opportunity to bring forward questions. And just an example of what these questions could even look like is, what emotional theme is holding me back from taking that next step in my business? What steps can I take to actualize my heart-centered practice and business? Perhaps, what steps can I take to strengthen my relationship with my business and my potential customers? Maybe it's around, how am I sabotaging my business? What changes can I make to correct this? What even marketing technique can I implement to increase sales and money flow? Now, these questions that I share with you just in this episode are very specific. They're very, very precise. They don't necessarily need to be this precise. They don't even need to be this business focused. But I do bring forward a lot of individuals who have the desire to move forward. Again, they're called a business mastery session for a reason. And that's because they want deeper levels of clarity, deeper levels of validation, of an opportunity to witness what they may not be able to consciously see. So it's really just an opportunity to have access to this cosmic library, to really leave with a sense of assurance, with a sense of self-empowerment, and with this sense of an awakened, energetic sense of, I'll call it like a sense and a state of being that will propel you on your path forward, because you've just discovered so many hidden truths. And we've untangled the enigmas of your life just to unleash this brand new potential that's been, again, awakened within you, ignited within you, within these sessions. With each and every booking, you are also provided some guidance around the questions that you want to bring forward. And again, that can look like past, present, future, just to help to give you some ideas if you are essentially struggling to think about what should I be asking, but also trust and know that whatever your soul needs, whatever your higher self wants to bring forward for you in this session, is exactly what you will receive. And this is where we are going to get into the segment around this ever so short story of what did unfold for this recent client. So one of the things that I always say is the language that I use when I'm channeling, the language that I bring forward in working with your masters, teachers, and loved ones in these record readings, it will be a language or an analogy that is spot on for you. My ego is not present, and so it really brings forward exactly the truth in the way that you need to hear it, unfiltered. And this is where, in the beautiful recent session, for one, I'm just going to say that with this specific individual, a lot of bird analogies were coming forward in her session, to the point where when she was asking some questions and I was referencing these bird analogies, she had to stop me just to say, it's so eerie, the fact that you keep bringing up these bird analogies, because in the sessions that I've been holding with clients this past week, I've been pulling a lot of bird analogies forward. But it was exactly, again, what she needed to know and what was needed to be shared for her to receive the messages in the way that they were being provided. The other huge piece that unfolded within this 45 minutes, and again, like I mentioned earlier, I look at them as very much metamorphosis type of sessions, because we understood what was a partial block in reaching her next level, in continuing her growth with business, and devised this brand new, incredible offer with some of her pillars, along with the associated pricing, and really how to even go about with some of her messaging and her marketing. This is the power and the potential. Yes, of course, there is so much channeled guidance. Yes, of course, there is healing within it, like I mentioned, just in accessing and opening your records. but really I encourage individuals to come forward with the questions that they have had on their heart for so long, but in a way that can really guide them forward too. There's a very strong intention behind them, because that just allows much more clarity and definition to be brought forward as well. I have lots of actual written testimonials, feedback, and really just hearing it from the perspective of the individual themselves. On my Instagram, you will find a highlight that says the Akashic Records. If you're curious to just hear it from the individual themselves and what they went through, I invite you to take a look there. And I invite you again, just as that friendly reminder of, if you have been called to receive a reading, to receive your personalized Business Mastery Soul Guidance session, until May 23rd, they will be $111. And then that price will go back up to its regular point of $222 for a 45-minute one-to-one session. And one of the things that I just want to end this episode on as well, that has really been so enjoyable, but also so affirming for me as well, is there is so much, again, that will come forward for each individual. But this is the beauty of the coaching work. This is the beauty of a long-term commitment. So the Mini Mind Frequency Business Mastery is reopening on June 12th for coaches, for online service providers, entrepreneurs who are essentially in that income bracket of not necessarily having made 3 to 5K income months, but they do have an established business, where we're really going to get into the crux around marketing, their messaging, their unique signature offer, and how to go about and what works for their own humanity to sign clients in a way that feels good to them. I also have a free masterclass available if you are curious when I say honoring their humanity to sign clients in a way that's unique for them. You can find that over as well right now on my Instagram profile. All those links will be in the show notes too. So I really invite you, if you've been curious to explore that, to reach out to me, to look at the sales page, to even take that next step and apply yourself before it's too late, because it's going to be a very intimate cohort. If I've learned anything from this recent Mini Mind, is to give you personalized attention, to give you and hold the space for opportunity in coaching and unraveling your mindset, unraveling what may be holding you back from moving the needle forward in your business. Each and every week when we have our live coaching sessions, and even within Voxer, my capacity is 6 individuals in a cohort. So that being said, again, June 12th, we start for a 3-month period. And the whole reason I bring this up, as I was mentioning with the records and what it's really affirmed to me, is now that we know all of this, now that this has all been downloaded, has been encoded for you through the questions, again, that you've brought forward, whether it's from a more, not necessarily a personal base, because it's very still derived around your business, but what's required, even when it comes to, okay, here's the marketing that you need to take forward, and here's the type of messaging that you need to bring in as well. The support will be unlike any other, with coaching that you receive within the Mini Mind being so high touch, to really help you to implement that and to stay accountable to that more than anything, right? And last but not least, of course, too, if you've ever been interested in longer term commitment, there is the 6-month one-to-one offering. If group is not your style for any reason, if you've gone through lots of courses, if you've gone through lots of groups, and you are just that soul who's like, I'm so ready for one-to-one support, because it is so intimate, it's so beautiful, and there is just next level healing. When we're talking about, even if you have felt in any way or desire compelled to learn how to read the records yourself, I've had clients come to work with me in 6 months and really establish how they want to access the records, how they can start channeling, how they can start opening up more. Because I will say, everyone, we all have this ability to channel, but it's really around the steps in doing so. And when we have any doubt around, well, how do I go about even channeling? What is channeling? How do I know this to be true? There are essentially, I want to say, just off the top of my head right now, when I think about my process, about 7 to 8 steps that I call and that I am very, again, diligent with to bring forward, to not just open the channel, but to have the right commands, to have the right protection, to have the right individuals, we need specificity with this work. And so that's, again, a huge area that we will, if the individual, of course, depending on the client, if that's something that they desire. I really hope this episode has landed for you today, has offered you something, whether it even just be a better understanding of the records themselves. There's so many different ways that we can speak about it. Like I mentioned even in the beginning too, there's so many different ways that people will choose to access the records. If there is anything I want you to leave with today, is to trust what you feel in your body. To always just come back to your inner truth. Regardless of, even with business, like there's so much noise. I've been coming across a lot of people that just feel so stuck because they're consuming so much. And it's really just to come back into the energetics of how can you manage your energy as well to be able to have very strong, trusting discernment in the decisions that you're making and in the steps that you are moving forward with for your growth. So as always, if you have any questions, if you want to leave any feedback, following, of course, if you've been tuning in and you have yet to follow, they really help to bring more visibility to this podcast. And if you want to learn more specifically, even feel free. I invite you to drop me a DM. The best place, as always, is Instagram to find me, or in my recent Facebook group. If you just head over to my profile, Mallory Meyer, you will be able to see my Spiritual, Wealthy, and Opulent Coaches Facebook group where I'm always delivering value and trainings within. All right, other than that, maybe I will see your beautiful face, your beautiful soul for a reading. And all that information is in the show notes. Have a gorgeous weekend. Bye.